All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:32. It is February 26th. We're almost done with the second month of 2026. How you doing? How you feeling? How you making out? It's been a little tricky market. It's definitely been things to do. They never give money away on trees. You got to work. You got to have your routine, your process. You have to be thinking clearly. You have to be prepared. All the things like any business. So why not in the trading business where things move around faster than everything else? Anyway, with that being said, my name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com and founder of Red Dog Mindset. If you're watching the on-demand link, it's because your friends and family and probably subscribed above. If you're trying to find this and you can't find this one, send it to you. That's because Twitter doesn't play the replay right now. But anyway, we're trying to figure it out. At this point, a lot of guys are like, hey, Red Dog, sometimes you're neutral to negative, sometimes you're neutral to positive. I'm like, well, that's what the range has been. As a trader, you need to be flexible, right? Down in this area, it felt as if, maybe we could break below 675 and it didn't happen. All I know is that on Tuesday, right, I was like, could we hold 680 and then take back 686 to negate what happened on Monday? And that's what happened. So that's what had to take you from neutral to negative to neutral to positive. If you went neutral to positive on Tuesday, you got paid on Wednesday, right? And now what? You have a gap here. So do we hold 690.06 after a 2-day move, go sideways and stay in this upper end now? Can we hold 690, stay in the upper end of what this overall channel has been, and then potentially take this out? We'll see. But there's definitely been things to do, ways to navigate, ways to switch gears. Same thing. I posted this with you guys the other day. I'm like, hey, do we hold 599? And we did. Could have covered some shorts. You could have got long. There was definitely a lot of names out there that were good. And then we took out 611 to get 617. And now do we hold 611-ish, go sideways and continue into this whole big quadrant, right? Quadrant trading. You never knew you were going to be a quadrant trader. But anyway, so that's that. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, thank you so much for the lesson in the Red Dog reversal, because, coming into this week, we were all a little tactical, not knowing which way we would go. So you have risk down and you want to make money day trading. And some people are like, well, you could day trade the Red Dog reversal, and sometimes it's a day and a half trade because usually it's an inflection point. So let me just real quickly just touch back on that, because everyone's like, could you touch base on Microsoft? Because Microsoft was the perfect Red Dog reversal / day and a half trade. So what do I mean? Well, from a double top of 550, 50-ish down to 383. That's a pretty big move for Microsoft, right? I don't even know how many points is that. 120 plus points. So what did it do? It went below 383. This was Tuesday. Could it continue down to 350 or lower? But no, it went below 383.10, made a low of 381.70. You could have bought right there, put your stop in, and it could be a swing trade for a little bit, or it could have been a day trade, which it was on Tuesday. And if you said, hey, I'm going to keep a third just in case it's oversold enough and the shorts just lost control, I'm going to play it for, a second day bounce. And not only did you get a second day bounce, it actually took out that prior pivot of 392. This was 392 and gave you, a nice 2-day move. 2-day moves are awesome. 1-day moves are awesome, let alone a day and a half. And you had a day and a half in a few different Red Dog reversals. So this was Microsoft. And now what? I would think Microsoft, we'll see if it could, if it's down $1, can it hold, this area and start just even a bigger move just to the 21-day. It hasn't even seen the 21-day in a while, but that was Microsoft. You know what? I played Hood pretty well. Hood did the same thing. Hood gave you a Red Dog reversal, a move from 153, 139, 115, lots of technical reasons to be out of the way. And then it went below the 70-40 area. So if it wanted to go to 60 or lower, what did it have to do? It would have to stay below 70.43. Instead, it went below, came back above, gave you your pivot buy, which is what I did, and gave you a day and a half trade. So I did sell 75%. I still have some. Crypto helped that move. And now in order for this to give you more action, or start a sequence that's better, now you would think Robinhood will hold, just say 74.64, digest a day, and then continue further up. So then you manage the trade. Does it pay you to stay there? Does it make it easy? You had your 2-day trade. Can you buy a dip for it to hold this, go sideways, and then maybe take this out to fill the gap? So that's your 2-day trade, a day and a half trade, or just a day trade with using the Red Dog reversal when you're tactical. All right, so let's talk Nvidia, because people are like, Red Dog, what the hell is going to go on here with Nvidia? Well, again, I feel like I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to, just, again, like I just said, do the right thing. So I bought the Nvidia 195 calls here, like when the stock was 187 for about $3, and then didn't really do much with them. And then into this move, I sold a third. And then yesterday, Nvidia went as high as what? 197.63. I was able to sell over half. I did sell half at $7. Wow, that was a nice trade. But the good book told me to say, hey, I got to hold some just in case they beat, they guide, and it goes. So I'm holding half. I have till tomorrow. Right now Nvidia is up 2. So what I'm probably going to do, they're probably going to go from 7 to like 4. I'll just salvage it and then see, what does Nvidia want to do? Does Nvidia want to hold the low from yesterday, 193.80, and digest, and then let the fast money lose money in their options and then have a better week next week? Or are they going to do what they did last time? Last time on earnings, I believe, was right around here. It opened up, and I remember saying, hey, it's got to, will it hold? Was it this spot? Was this 191? It was, or maybe it was somewhere over here, and it just failed, and then it came in, and then I had to rebuild and do all this mess. So I think for today, let's just say 193.80. Can it hold 193.80 and show commitment to this little move? It's been in the same place for so long, or not? So we're going to watch it, and we're going to see. Right now it's up 2. So I will try and get rid of the last part of my options and salvage it, just to salvage it, and then move on. I have a lot of comments in here. J Street says, good morning. Good morning. Jobby up for everyone. W Day, the CRM, a lot of questions. So yesterday, W Day was awesome. Why was W Day awesome? Because it was at new lows on the year. And I said, I'm like, hey, I'm going to watch W Day kind of make a low in the first 15, 30 minutes and go green for cash flow. That would help software. And I gave you guys 122, 125. So W Day wound up reclaiming 125. I knew 122 from after hours. I was trading and it couldn't get through 122 after hours. But guess what? It went through it yesterday, and then it went through here, and this wound up being a really nice day trade. I haven't traded W Day in 2 years. I really haven't. I never really trade the stock. But it was this setup, and as a trader, we're allowed to look at setups. It opened lower and reverse. Now the question is, will it give you a little bit more action? What's W Day doing this morning? Let's see. Down $1.10 at 132. So I would think that this should hold, this area, at least half of this bar, to have some commitment to this bar in the upper end, and then maybe it could take that out. Maybe it does it today, maybe it does it in 2 days. But if this is going to give you more than a trade, remember, like the Red Dog reversal, sometimes it's just a day trade, sometimes it's more than a day trade. Just even say 134, then you'd probably want to see it hold this spot, right? Your retracement spot, and then at some point take this out and see more. So I will watch W Day to see if it goes red to green. And some people are like, well, Red Dog, do you think CRM could do the same thing as W Day this morning for cash flow? Well, CRM had a little bit of a different setup. CRM, obviously, it's been battered and bruised from 367 to a low of 174. It's not opening at a new low, a new washout low. But it's definitely been down. So let's see what CRM doing this morning. So this is W Day. So where's CRM? CRM is down 6 at 185. So is that this low here? This low is what? 182. Okay. So hey, so maybe this could hold 182. Big buyback, a lot of stuff. Wasn't the greatest report, but it's also wasn't priced for great reporters, priced for, what's been going on here. So I will look here and say, hey, maybe I will be buying a reverse 182. And then if it wants to get better, it takes that out. This is 174. This is 182. CRM right now is at 184. So it's worth a look. It's worth a look. Anyway, some people are like, well, Red Dog, the memory names is still the best names. Guess what? When Citron came out and said they're short SanDisk, I told you guys yesterday, a few things happen. Some uncommitted shorts come in because they think Citron, they can make some free money from their play, but they're uncommitted. So if the real money stays, these guys are going to get their asses squeezed. Excuse my French. So what happened with MU yesterday? MU, didn't trade down, still hanging in this wedge, still looks really strong. So no one got stopped out of 411. You could still be in this, thinking maybe it goes. STX was even better. Look at that. STX, held the 21-day, going sideways, above the 8-day, looking really good. That's 390. Looks like at some point it might take out. I'm sorry, this isn't 390. This is this is 390, and this high here is 434. I'm sorry. What the hell is both of those doing there? Anyway, so that's 434. And then you have 459. So STX looks good. MU looks good. WDC, look at that. Still up here, still holding the 21 days. Not a lot of stocks above the 21 day. So anyway, and then you have SanDisk. Still, all it did is, have an inside day. Didn't even break 613. So with that being said, if you're still there, this group is strong. There's SanDisk. Here's I have these level 2s up during the day. Some people are like, what does your 6 monitors look like? Well, I have these level 2s in groups. So this is what it looks like. So that'd be SanDisk, Western Digital, STX, and then let's get MU over here. MU. So if you're going to be trading this group, by the way, this group is tough to trade. It's whippy. If you trade this group, you're probably not trading anything else except for you're looking at how the group's trading versus SPYs and the Qs and whatnot. So anyway, yes, nice gap up here. I feel like everyone's like, all you have to do is buy SanDisk every day on the close and you make 20 points. Anyway, how much of a cushion do you give a stop below a swing low price? Usually you just do the low. If the stock breaks below the low of a prior day, it invalidates the setup. That's what Rod was asking. Netflix did wake up yesterday, so let's switch some gears. Netflix finally, gave you a lower level to trade against, which was a 75. Perked up a little bit on Tuesday, and then look at Wednesday. Not so bad. It's been battered and bruised, but then it's just really just a range trade, but you're allowed to do range trades, so that's pretty good. Somebody just asked me, can I look at Joby? Hey, look at that. JOBY is falling up a little bit. This has been a pain in the ass stock, I'll be honest. You go like this. This is one of the stocks that I try to anticipate, and it's up 9%. I'm not gonna be bragging about it being up, but we have it on as a power play where I doubled up on it. It wasn't really a power play; it was more like a concept play, and it had a deal with Uber yesterday. So you have a $10 stock or $11 stock with with the future, in Dubai and here and there, and boom, you would think that it could hopefully hold up and be better. What's this level here? This is 1026. Where does this gap start? The gap on Joby is 1138. So we'll see. I'm happy because a lot of people, I lost a bunch of money I made money then lost money in this stock so far this year. From 2019 all the way down. I remember I was buying a lot of it in here. I sold a bunch, and then I was accumulating it here, and then just didn't use a stop and got hurt into this gap. But anyway, that was then. This is now. We'll see if it's reborn. Sometimes people are like, hey, how does a stock, get reborn? Well, you gap up 90 cents, you put a low, and you have a nice gap there, and you hold that low moving forward. So maybe that's the case here with Joby. That would be nice. RDW, I haven't revisited either. RDW, we made a lot of money to start the year. I got out, at least this one I got out on this day. Sold into strength, broke the 8-day, get out of the way. And now, hey, this looks like it's kind of rebuilding down here. So, if these type of names, the drone names, the aviation names want to get going, maybe it happens. We'll see. We'll see. What's RDW doing this morning with Joby? Is it trading as like a group? Let's see. That's down 50 cents. I stopped trading these pretty much. I really felt like I stopped trading them on January 30th. Someone asked me, why am I in this FRMI? Nice candle yesterday. The stock got battered and bruised from 37.26, and then got, there was some news on it yesterday. A few of my friends have been playing it. I started watching and here accumulated it. There's a gap to be filled to 1390 to get to 1390. It's got to get above 1205. This made me some good money yesterday. We'll see, what it wants to do today. So there's other things going on besides Nvidia, besides Western Digital, besides SanDisk. It all depends where you're trading. But I'm happy that Joby did that. What's FRMI doing today? It's down 3 cents. All right, not so bad. So I'm still there. If you could have bought more when it got above 1075, that was right here to get in that gap. So lots of ways to use what you got to do here. Yeah, you know what? Finally, Bitcoin gave you a trade. I showed you guys the higher low yesterday. That helped my Robinhood that I was in. And now we'll see, what does it do now? Okay, let's look at Bitcoin right here. This is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin gave you 60,000 and a higher low at 62. A little bit of a wake up. I said it can go to the 21 day, and it did. Went a little bit higher. I said 69, I went to 70. So let's change this to 70. All right, so if Bitcoin is going to be better versus just the trade, just like everything else, I would think, Bitcoin doesn't get too much below, let's say a third of this candle. So you'd want to probably see Bitcoin hold this now. You could probably draw this like here, let it do an inside day or two, show some commitment to this igniting type of candle, and then all of a sudden takes this out, and then, hey, maybe there's better action there. Maybe you could trade Coin a little bit more. Maybe you could trade Robinhood a little bit more. Maybe you could trade, some of those guys. Someone asked me if I'm in Poet. I'm still in Poet. Yes, I bought more Poet yesterday. Actually, no, this day I bought Poet. My friends are accumulating this for later this year. They think it's 15 to 20. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. All I know is they said, hey, I'll watch it. And it started to act better. Last time it started to act better, had to move to 9. We'll see what it does here. Anyway, we'll switch gear one more time because of Apple, everyone loves when Red Dog's an Apple. And, I played Apple a few different ways. If you remember, you could be as an investor for like 5 years, or you could trade it tactically. I remember buying it here, adding here, got smaller, got stopped out when I was at Fox Business with Liz on this day. And then last Friday, it just felt better. I bought it back and I've been in it since. I'm going to try and stay in it. Maybe now, it wants to hang out in here a little bit, rebuild, and then make a move towards highs. A lot of the negative narratives that some of these things have, Apple doesn't have right now. They're not spending on a huge build out. They're not raising money. They're building devices. Let's hope that the foldable one comes in September. Let's hope that, they continue to do what they do. And anyway, I'm in it still, and I still think it can go sideways and continue. So we'll see how that goes. Apple short 272.50 calls. Okay. What's Apple doing today? Apple is, hey, down 25 cents. Not bad at all. Not bad. I thought maybe it could get down here yesterday. It didn't. So what's this low? This low is 271.05. It's making it pretty easy. I like to be in a swing trade that makes it easy to buy a dip and make money sitting in, not names that are so erratic and don't pay you to sit there. So Apple, since last Friday, has really been paying you pretty well to sit in it without a lot of pain, right? They say no pain, no gain. Well, sometimes no pain is good for trading. So anyway, with that being said, Amazon, I bought back a little bit yesterday. You want me to leave you with Amazon, my worst stock of last year? Okay. This was my worst stock of last year. Everyone wants to talk about my worst stock. Anyway, I did make some money when I bought 197, sold most. It's kind of rebuilding here. I do think that there could be a trade for this to break through 211, 212 to fill that gap. So I'm in it. If it wants to make it easy, not hard. I always say do hard things. If you do hard things, you have selected hard. When hard things happen, you can handle hard. But sometimes as a trader, you don't need to have hard. because you could pick and choose your spots. So it would be nice if this holds 209 to make it easy to sit in and not erratic, and then perhaps trade through 211, 212 and give you, another calculated move. I am in it for that, and we shall see. So with that being said, it is 6:52. T3 says I could do a free 6:30 club till 6:50, and then I'm done. Then I spend the rest of the day with the alpha team. Because Twitter does not post the instant replay anymore, I do post it to friends and family who subscribe to Redler Premium, which is the Red Dog Mindset. Hopefully you already watched the 25-20 this morning, because again, 20-minute workout, get your mind right, have your endorphins go and think about your positions, think about what you could do, when you're going to do them. So this way you execute. I know a lot of people tried to play that, the W day with me, right? It was pretty funny. And I said, everyone wanted it in the first 20 minutes. It didn't happen in the first 20 minutes. By 11:30, it was finally green and had a nice move. And everyone's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. It took so long. I'm like, guys, it's 11:30. Market opened at 9:30. For 2 hours, took 10 points. How long did it take? Have a different perspective. You're exhausted because you're exhausted. Not everything happens in the first 20 minutes. Anyway, I like it when it happens in 20 minutes too, but I'm just saying you got to have the perspective. It's not a choppy move. It just means that it wasn't ready to go when you wanted it to go, and maybe you had too much size and you had to do other things. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Listen, I might do a 6:30 club tomorrow for Friday. I'm not sure. If I do it, it's for those who subscribe to Red Dog Mindset. Not the bots out there. Anyway, have a great day.